Um, Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We are having a very brief live session to discuss the new university funding model. It's a big issue because we learned something recently that in the absence of factual information, the misinformation will run the race. So when you'll come explaining what the truth about a particular fact is, you will be seen as the one lying actually. So what we've decided to do, particularly me, is that issues that are prone to misconception, we do research and then we share with you the facts as they are. So it's now upon you to choose, are you going to believe the facts that are there, or are you going to go with the misinformation? But at least you should have the fact. So that is what we want to discuss, the new university funding model. The first questions that are asked is that why do we need a new one? So today I'm going to bring on board my friend Fazul Alid of Abari 254. We usually do this with him. And you can also join us. You just click the link that is pinned on the first comment, and you can join the way our brother Michael Bundi joined yesterday, and we had a very good conversation on Facebook monetization. So that is Fazul. Fazul, salimia watu. Unmute, please.
Habari zenu wapendwa, mi naitwa Fazulu wa Habari 254. Jinsi amekuelezea hapo mwanzoni, mi ni mwanahabari humu nchini na kuna vitu vingi ambavyo huwa tunafanya live kwenye hii platform ya Facebook. Sasa tunaenda live kuhakikisha kuwa tumeweka facts ziwe facts na fiction pia tukaweka kando ziwe fiction, zisiwe hadithi za alinacha. Kwa hiyo siku ya leo tunataka kuongelelea huu mfumo wa funding wa vyuo vikuu, kwa maana kuna wengi ambao wameleta malalamishi. Wengine wanasema kuwa makabwela ama tuseme maskini wameachwa kando, na wale ambao wanajiweza, tunaweza waita matajiri, ndio sasa watafanikiwa kufika pale katika vyuo vikuu. Kwa hiyo niko hapa na mwenzangu Samson Ogola ambaye pia ni mchanganuzi wa masala ya kisiasa humu nchini, na vilevile huwa anadadavua vitu vingi kuhusiana na mtandao na kufanyia ufundi web kitu kama hicho. Naam.
Kuna mtu anasema ati hii ni kama bezi ya bangi.
Anakuuliza studio yako, anasema ni kama bezi ya bangi. Huu ni kama anataka tu kukukomoa
No, Murata has been a good friend for long. He's a wonderful soul. Now, what what I wanted us to do,
yes,
I wanted us to go through why. We start with the question, why do we need a new funding model? You see,
yes,
the question, that is the question people are asking. Even when we try to talk to people out there, the question they are asking you is, what was so wrong? What was so wrong with the current,
old model.
with the former university grant? Why do you need something new? I want to give you an example to explain why we needed a new funding model.
Okay, before you explain why we need the new funding model,
Yes.
Kwa mujibu wa taarifa zako ama utafiti ambao umeufanya,
Yes.
is it affordable to all? Number 2, is it fair, ambapo it cuts across board mahali unaweza pata kama maskini na matajiri watu wote wako mamoja.
So the reason as to why we are discussing the why first before we go to how is we want to compare, we want to look into what was happening before that has now necessitated this new funding model.
Naam.
What was happening before, Bwana Fazul na wale ambao wanatutizama,
Mhm.
ni kwamba once there are people, I want to just give an example. There are people in a certain school,
True.
maybe some school in Kodera Forest. Okay, they don't have resources, etc. But let's say somebody gets a C plus from
Mhm.
that school. Okay,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
there are also people who can afford maybe very expensive school fees in maybe Kabarak. I'm just using that as an example. No malice intended. Just an example.
Sure.
In Kabarak, you are going to pay amount of maybe 300,000.
Mm.
Okay,
Mhm.
maybe 300,000 per year because 100,000 per term. So in those 4 years you are in the secondary, you end up paying 1.2 million. Kabarak, as an example, just an example, we're using as an example, has facilities that are superior to maybe that school in Kodera Forest. Okay, so chances of people in Kabarak performing better are usually higher. So somebody who was paying maybe 300,000 uh, Kenya shillings per year in a secondary school ends up getting a plane. According to the former model, the people job is going to pick people to do exam to do different courses in the university. Here is the challenge, Fazul. The people who got a plane in Kabarak, remember they could afford 300,000 per term. Now, when they come to the university, because they scored an A, okay, they scored an A plane. The university job now gives them full scholarship. Now they study for free. Remember, these are people who could afford, don't forget, these are people who could afford 1.2 million in secondary. All of a sudden, now the government has to pay for them university. So this is what was being said is unfair because this is somebody who can afford and they are given the first priority because they have scored A. You see, that is what was going on. You score an A plane, you are given first priority when people are being admitted to universities. So once you are given first priority, the government will now also give you the first priority when it comes to help. And these are people who could afford to pay. So it leaves that person in Kodera Forest who perhaps
Sure.
got a C plus, okay?
Mm. Mm.
Unajua sasa yeye hatachukuliwa kama priority na government in terms of giving help anyway because
Mm.
perhaps even the cut off limit imekata tu C plus. Sasa anajipata hapo amewekwa ana survive kwa university. Most of the
Mm.
time they were going to pay for themselves, yet they are coming from the poorest of poorest. So what
Mhm.
the government looked into, the argument was if Fazuli you can afford to pay academy in
Mhm.
primary, huh? Academy where let's say your kid goes to one of these academies where people pay maybe 1 million
Mhm.
in fees, okay?
You are
And
talking of high-end academies, eh?
yes, but
Mm.
kids go there. The academies, there are people who even in places like Langata, averagely,
Mm.
how much do people pay for their kids in per term? Maybe 70,000. So
Mm.
these are, and that is primary. These are people who can afford a lot. Funnily enough, with the former model, they go
Mhm.
to the best academy, then go to the best secondary schools, okay, where they pay millions. But then
Mhm.
when they reach the university, all of a sudden, they are now poor people that the government
Mhm.
has to now support.
Mm.
Yet at that time that the government is supporting the people who were now jiweza, at
Mhm.
that time that person ambaye ajiwezi
Mhm.
anapewa apewi nini ya kwanza, aangaliwi wa kwanza. Okay,
Mm.
so that is what was being fixed. That is there.
Mm.
Why do we need something? We need something that is fair. So they will judge based on your income, the income of your family. They will judge. It will be judged if you are coming from Fazul's house and Fazul has a household income of this amount, okay, then the government will only give you this amount,
Mm.
okay, in terms of loan
Mhm.
or in terms of scholarship. We are going to
Mm.
break them down. We are going to break it down into what it is, etc. But I was just explaining this is the why. Whatever we
Mhm.
had was not fair to those who are poor. It was favoring those who can afford high-end academies and go to better schools and get better marks. Once they get the better marks, they get free as university education. While somebody who was struggling down there from primary to secondary, they are struggling. They get their C plane or B minus. They are not given the first priority in terms of this funding. So that is the why, because we said we wanted to explain the why. Nani is saying anaitwa
Jackson Muigai says the model is simply discriminatory.
in the fact that it is saying, from another angle, some people would say this is discriminatory, okay? But it's looking at it from this way. There is what we call equity, and there's what we call equality. This is about equity. There are people who can pay school fee. I've given you an example, Jackson. If you can afford to pay a school fee of 300,000 in secondary school per year, how comes when you reach university, all of a sudden now you are poor, you need the government now to pay for everything? That is now where the challenge is. And that is why some people who perhaps were used to that model are now finding it discriminatory. Okay? Yeah, even Maina is saying use the old one. The old one is Maina, the old one is favoring those who can rig the system. This one is about giving that person who is truly poor a chance to get funding fast. Okay? So that was the why. Now we go to what is it? What is this new funding? And how does it now favor, okay, those who truly need to be helped? Because majority of Kenyans, as you know, the intention is okay, but how will they determine the genuine beneficiaries to be? Ama itakuwa kama bursaries.
That is Charlie Love, eh?
So Charlie, what I was saying, thank you, because you are saying the intention is very okay. So there is what we call mean testing, where they look at the median household. The government has details of how much actually you earn. You should know that. The government actually knows how much averagely you earn. And even when you are going to fill in the details about your family, you see, you didn't just jump from somewhere into a university. You've been going through maybe primary, you've been going through maybe secondary. And so let's say I was giving an example with somebody who perhaps has been at Kabaraks. And Kabaraks is a private secondary school. And perhaps there, the school fee might be 300,000 per year. So if you can afford 300,000 per year, if your family can afford 300,000 per year, there is no way you can find yourself now in university poor to the point that you can't afford everything. You are now depending entirely on help. That is what this means Cortez thing is. Even when we will be discussing the shift, it will be the same thing. It is about looking at how much do you get. If by that estimation you can afford, then you need to give room to those who can't afford. Okay. So that is something you need to know, Charles. I'm going to take us to, or you'd want to chip in, Fazul?
Yeah, I would like to read some of the concerns of our viewers here.
Okay.
For example, there is Job Kipruto Boyo who says, my only concern with the current university funding is, will the government manage to pay the money capitation rather to respective universities timely, pay the lecturers on time considering previous incidences of failing to remit funds on time?
Kipruto, thank you, sir. Kipruto, if you can remember why this is necessary, most universities were already in debt. Some universities were really struggling. The lectures were, we are now used to lecturers going to strike virtually every year. It is now a normal thing. You would find lecturers going to strike virtually every year because they have not been paid. Universities were so broke, they had no money, especially public universities. They were so broke. There were even now malpractices in the university because universities now would even sell courses. You just make sure people graduate very fast. Those who have money would now get their degrees very fast, okay? Because you now want to survive. You can't pay staff. So this is purely to address that, Job Kibrut. It is purely to address that, ensuring that the money reaches the right student and the money for university reaches the university as early as possible. Once you do that, you're okay. So that universities can concentrate on research. Okay, that is very important. Universities are supposed to be concentrating, especially universities and TVETs. This tertiary colleges, they're supposed to be focusing mostly not on churning graduates, but actually doing research, innovation. That is mostly. There is read that, please, before we go to.
Hendrik Mopel says it is hard decision, but it is necessary. I support the government, the president rather, fully. Then there is another one here by Enoch Korir.
Yes.
Can continuing students under the new system without ID get loans?
No, not really. I will be going through the question and answers officially from the official website. Okay. So that we will be reading that from official website. Mostly, this funding favors those students who did exam since 2022. So if Enoch, if you did your KCSE exam in 2022, you qualify for this. But let's say you did before that, then you are under the old model. You see, these laws don't work retrogressively. Even when CBC was introduced, those who are already in class 2 were not forced to start studying CBC. You go until you are done. But the people who are coming behind you are under that new curricula. That is what is happening here, Enoch. If you are between 2022, if you did your KCSE in 2022, which means you joined university in 2023, and those who are going to join, those who are joining now in 2024, those are the ones who are qualifying. So even if you are a continuing student anyway, you are already in that system. If you started last year, you are in that system. But those who are, let's say, those who joined a long time ago, before that, they are continuing with the other old model as it is being phased out. I hope that is Nini. There
Great.
is
Solomon Sultan, something like that. Was the government previously paying for the university education because Kenyans were poor?
I don't understand what the question is. Do you understand?
Was the government previously paying for university education because Kenyans were poor?
Okay, is he asking that what was the government paying for education? Because that is what I'm trying to get.
Paying for university education.
Njoki has joined us. Sandra Njoki. That is Sandra Njoki.
Hi, everybody.
Sandra
Thank
Njoki,
you.
Karibu.
Karibu on board.
Tuko hapa na Fazul. We are discussing the university funding model. So we've just explained the why it was necessary, and now we are fielding questions from our viewers to address them before we move right into how does this model work, because the challenge we have most of the time is the misconception. If you don't provide information, then you saw the other time, if you don't provide the right information, then misinformation will carry the day. And then now when you come with information that is true, then people see you as if you are the one now who is lying. So if they say that this current university model is only favoring the rich, okay, then later you come when maybe it's been now terrible, later you come with information and you are like, guys, this thing is favoring everybody, okay. They will be like, kwenda huko hizo ni nini za nini. So we were reading a question from Solomon Sultan. He was asking, was the government previously paying for university education because Kenyans were poor? I don't understand what he's asking, but if he's asking whether the government has been paying because of because people are poor, then that is self-explanatory. If you can afford, why would the government pay? Most of the people who have gone through university know that they have done it through the loan because majority can't afford it. Okay, majority can't afford paying for university.
Yeah.
So I think that is the answer. There is another comment here, Fazul. You can read this. Or
By
Njoki, we
Gordon.
welcome Njoki. Read us this. Njoki,
Njoki, could you please read the comment by Gordon Opio?
The comment by Gordon.
Oh, the one by Gordon.
Yes.
Gordon has said, a parent to 3 university students,
yes,
I believe that this new model is the best. Look at the real impact. Did you hear that any first year failed to join university last year? This year you will not hear the same. Why? The truly poor are now covered.
Yeah.
But in this instance,
Yes.
I would much rather we if Gordon is listening, or if we can elaborate further, because you see Gordon's statement is very blanket. We need to elaborate it for those who are yet to believe in this university model. We need to understand how is he able to afford 3 university students with this model.
I invited Gordon. I think he's on is in another meeting, but I think he would have really loved to join us. So he dropped the comment, but he's in another online meeting. I remember he said so. So he would have really joined and explained, because he has kids who are actually beneficiaries of this. And most of the time, even yesterday when we were doing, you remember, Fazul, when we were doing the issue of Facebook monetization, we actually had on the platform somebody who is earning from Facebook, like somebody who's making money from Facebook, who is being paid maybe for 1 year. He was saying he has been earning for a year. So when that person talks, then those who are saying in a scam, it doesn't work, then now they get it. If Gordon was to join us and maybe share, is okay. But I also encourage, like I said, there is a link on the comment. It is pinned. You just click that link and you'll come here and explain if you are a beneficiary. But he's raising a point here that you don't have cases of majority of people failing to join, and so you have them here again, meaning that the system, as I explained earlier, the system actually is trying to solve something. And Njoki, Sandra, before, the former model worked this way. Let's say I have money. I will take my kid to the best academy. That guarantees them a chance to go to some of the best secondary schools. But because I also have money, maybe my kid finds themselves in a secondary school where fee per term is 100,000. And so I pay 300,000 per year for this kid. This kid has the best learning material, the best school that has maybe 7 laboratories. But there is another person in maybe Kwale, okay? Deep down there, they have never seen a Bunsen burner. Maybe they see it the day of exam. They have never seen it anywhere. This person struggles to get a C+. Okay?
Yes.
But you see, the other person I was giving the example with Kabarak, the other person at Kabarak, what happens? This person will get, obviously, atapata A. Now, akishapata A, with the model that we had, the JAB will admit the top layer first, the people are A, and then provide their funding. So you would have somebody who has been favored from primary to secondary, coming to university, and now the government has to pay for them as if now they are poor. Then there is a poor person somewhere who is not being taken care of. There is a comment by Danson Kipketich. You can read, Fazul. It seems Njoki's internet is misbehaving.
Before Danson Kipkotich, there is somebody here who is supporting Gordon Opio. Alois Makoha, who says the new university model is the best, though not a beneficiary of it, but we most of us were opposing it because we hadn't been well informed. I've seen it almost to free education. I think that's the best achievement the president has done to shift my vote from Luo Nyanza to Rift Valley. Huyu anasema maneno votes. Alafu pia akasema Gordon Opio, by the way, it is the best of it. It is almost free education. Actually, watu wa ushago mashambani kabisa walikuwa wanapinga due to misinformation on the huge overall
Yes, yes.
the huge overall cost. But now the government has introduced even scholarship. Very big achievement from Mr. President, even if I've not been a beneficiary at the TVET level. Yes.
You are reading Alois Makoha?
Yes. Nimesoma mbili, ile ya kwanza na ya pili.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Alois. Alois has even underscored something. So let me walk people through this Nini first, very quickly, through the how the model works, because that is also important. People need to understand how does does it actually work. Okay. So
Sure.
we'll add this to the screen. Yes. So, and then we remove the comment by Nanu. So if you go to universitiesfund.go.ke, okay, if you move, okay, I think we are there. So if you went to universitiesfund.go.ke, you will get every information you need, about how this model works. I just want us to quickly just brush, because we are not going to read everything, but you can as well just visit this website. It is a government website and it is up all the time. You can go there. You can even find how do you apply for scholarship. Now, the funding, ladies and gentlemen, is classified into three phases. There is one that is called government scholarship. Then we have loan. Then we have contribution from maybe the parent or the student. Okay. So first of all, we have the scholarship. Scholarship is like a grant. He will pay. Okay. It is a percentage of the entire fee you are supposed to pay, which you don't have to repay later. The loan ni kama hiyo help tu ya kawaida ile tumezoea, where you will get the loan and then ukipata kazi itadidaktiwa, utalipa polepole. Okay. Then ya tatu sasa ni ile ambayo itatoka mfukoni mwako kama mzazi. Okay, ama kama mwanafunzi, kwa sababu kuna wanafunzi wengine ambao wanajielimisha. Okay, they are using their own resources. There are people who don't have parents. So here is the thing. What is the difference between the former university grant and the new higher education government student scholarship? I think I explained this, that the other one, the other one did not consider who was genuinely needy. It was like first come, first serve. You get an A, you are qualified. Another person gets C, even if they are the most needy people, they don't get anything. Okay. So this is about equality. Then we go to who qualifies. You see there? Who qualifies for the scholarship? To be eligible for the scholarship, one must be a Kenyan and a candidate who sat in 2022, as I said. Okay. Onward. So from 2022 on 2022 moving forward. Okay. He or she must have been placed by the COOPs. COOPs. Must have been placed by COOPs to pursue maybe undergraduate diploma, craft certificate, or artisan in the TVETs. Okay. So first you need to have been given that chance by you have that placement into a tertiary institution. Okay. How will the scholarship for university student be awarded? Okay. So it will be awarded, like I was saying, it will be awarded differently. The university fund will provide scholarship to students ranging from 30% to 70%, and depending on the level of need. And that is very important here. It depending on the level of need. Are
Unajua,
you if you are needy, okay, go on.
unajua sasa pale mala sasa watu wanajaribu kuuliza maswali, the level of need
Yes.
Sasa hiyo
Yes.
sasa watakuwa naijua kivipi, unaelewa?
That is we explained here that there is something we call mean testing, okay? Mean testing, where the government looks at averagely how much do you earn. When you are feeling this, when you are applying for this scholarship, you will fill the details of your parents, something like that, won't you? Maybe the ID of the parents, etc. And this will just show, maybe if it will show that this is what they do, this is their occupation. If let's say your parents are well doing people, and they are living maybe comfortably somewhere, it will show, because you will also be filling your estate, unless now you want to lie. We have cases, cases of people who will try to lie, but then the question is, like I asked you, if
Yes.
you can afford to pay maybe 1 million in secondary, if you can afford to pay 1 million in secondary, why would you lie so that you are assisted in university? Most of these people are just taking advantage because there was nobody asking them to pay, but they are in a position to pay. So you will say, maybe I come from Asembo, and this is the word. You will fill even the details, every detail where you come. So it will define you, the school where you went to. Even the first thing, the school where you went to will also give you up, because it is automatic. If somebody can easily know that Fazul went to this school, and the school where Fazul went is this expensive. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so it will be categorized. That is why we media was giving you options here and there, telling you, for instance, if you are doing medicine, and you are coming from a family whose median household income is below this amount, okay, below 5,000, government will take care of 70%, and another 30% will be taken care of through loan. It was just like that. So some people are sponsored 100%. They have a scholarship of 70% and a loan of 30%. There are others who only have a loan of 30% of maybe a loan, or a scholarship of only 30%, the entire loan, and then they pay other things. So that is how it is. Can students below 18 years, you see there, can students below 18 years apply? Minors, individuals who have not yet reached 18 of age, who start for their KCSE, have been placed in TVET, can apply. Okay,
For high education government student scholarship.
Once these individuals reach 18, they will be required to update their profiles to continue benefiting. So once you've reached 18, you continue benefiting. And guys, those who are watching us, just know that we are saying that if you want all the details, all the answers about this university funding model, just visit universitiesfund.go.ke. You will get all the answers, so that nobody lies to you. What we are trying to avoid here is a situation where you are being fed misinformation, and then the misinformation carries the day. So I could have gone through all this, but there is no need. You can just check that site. The site is universitiesfund.go.ke. You visit there, and you will get the right information about this. Answer to all your questions. Let us see what others are asking here.
Danson,
you read what is on the screen, please. Read that, Andrew.
Yes, okay, I've seen teachers being put at a band 5, where they are expected to contribute 55,000 and above, with a stipend of 17,000 Kenyan shillings. How will they manage to raise it? Other factors held constant.
How much, Andrew? How much do teachers averagely earn? Because that is where the lies start. Okay, those who are in band 5, okay, are people whose income is above 150,000. And how many teachers do you think are earning that much? Very few teachers, maybe principals of national schools, or maybe lecturers. But ordinary teachers are not hawako huko. So that is why I was saying we need to base this on facts, okay? Because we have bands, and these bands are about medium income. If you are getting 5,000, if you are getting 20, if you are getting about 50,000, if you are getting maybe 120, or if you are getting up to above 150, there are people who even earn 700,000. There are people, ministers, MPs, those ones are watalipiwa, watalipa. If you are an MP, you are a minister, you are a PS. Mambo ya kupeleka mtoto wako kwa university and expecting the government to pay, mostly it will be loan yenye utalipa. Yes.
Sure,
So
sure.
that is Andrew Kasandi Wanyama.
Kasandi Wanyama says, very good discussion. Keep it up.
Yes. Did we read this? Philemon To?
There is one by Jared Rabuto. Before we go to Solomon To.
Read the screen. The one on the screen, please.
Samson Ogola, you guys should listen to wananchi wamesema no to this education funding model. Why insist? Parent like the old system, period.
Philemon. The old system is not favoring the same parents. There are few parents who are benefiting from the old system. Okay. You see, Kenyans, we have this challenge. We always want change, but when it is proposed, we challenge it because we want the status quo. The status quo is favoring a few people. The rest don't even get favored. And I want to explain to you something, Philemon To. Remember, somebody who could afford taking their kids to academies, very expensive academies, somebody who could afford to take their kids to very expensive secondary schools. Ordinarily, when their kid go to university, they should pay for them. However, in this case, because those kids end up scoring higher, okay, and getting A's and etc., the government is forced to pay for them when a kid who perhaps is very needy somewhere is not getting any attention or is struggling. People have to do arambe. So that system, ya kitambo, is what we are saying is not working for a majority. It might be working for a few people, but it is not favoring the majority. You just read, Kiongozi, you just read what is on the nini. You just read what is on the screen. That one, Charlie Love.
Charlie Love says, it is not about knowing. Sorry. It is not about knowing. Even the MPs knows the background, but the transparency of the model.
Yeah. So the model, as far as of now, you wouldn't say that there will be cases of that it will be 100% perfect. That one will be naive. Okay. There is no model that is 100% perfect. There is no such thing. We don't have a model that is 100% perfect. However, we know perfectly that should there be something that is favoring a majority, it is worth giving a try if it is favoring a majority. Okay. I read that.
Danson Kipingetich says the model is not fair. Someone had applied as a person whose income is not more than 10,000 Kenya shillings, but he was placed to band 4, meaning he will pay 85,000 Kenya shillings per year. How fair, or what category was it used to categorize?
So let's say today, let's just use an example with Fazul. So Fazul is a journalist. Moderately, there is an expectation of what a journalist earns. Then Fazul goes to this website, and if he enters details that is actually earning 5,000. So the system rejects this because you'll put your ID there or the ID of the parent. And one way or the other, perhaps there is even your KRA PIN. It's attached to that ID. One way or the other, there is a detail. Perhaps you have a loan that you are perhaps doing taking care of a loan of $1 million. And here you are saying how you are only getting 5,000. So perhaps, I'm not saying that is what happened. There might be mistakes. I cannot rule out mistakes. But in some cases, there are people who applied with false information. I can tell you that. There are people who applied with false
False
information.
information.
This, Andrew, can you read that?
Andrew
We
says,
read
I've seen. Yeah, no.
We've read that.
Yeah, we've already read that.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Opio, you are sick, even prayers won't heal. Clinton. Then Jared Rabuto says people are opposing because the media is contributing 200% on misinformation. Just like CBC, the university model will work in phases.
Thank you, sir. And that is why we are doing what we are doing now. Okay? What we are doing is that we've gathered one thing. There's one lesson we've learned rather painfully, that when there is no correct information, then trust misinformation to occupy that vacuum. So give people the true information, they can then now choose to trust false information. You can't control people. People can decide. You can even tell them, this is a mouse. You can tell them, this is a mouse. And they will still tell you, that is a keyboard. So it's okay, but at least you told them that was what? A mouse. So that is what is being done here. We've decided, Mimi and my friend Fazul, that on most issues that are of controversy, issues that there are chances that people might come up and lie or sell wrong information to the public, we are going to share what the truth is about it. Then now the public has to make the decision. Whether the public decides to believe, because this is a democracy, something can be good, favoring majority, and then very few people who are now feeling bad because it doesn't favor them will make noise. It's acceptable. It's a democracy. So Rabuto, thank you for that. There is read that, Kiongozi.
The new model, the reason why I will wake up at 6 a.m. to fire the current leadership. So I think Wachira, Weru, Gachagua, the victims of misinformation. like what you said earlier on, when the information is not there, the vacuum that is left will be filled by misinformation.
Because Wachira, if you are there, please just click that link and join us and tell us why you feel this is the worst thing. But read that, Charlie Love.
Love says the model is okay. The problem is implementation and transparency to ensure genuinely deserving students benefit from the model.
Yeah, let us give the model a chance, because dismissing the model because we fear it might be corrupted or mismanaged, that is just saying, I don't want to give you this drug which has the ability to treat you because I fear the side effects. Okay. The side effects will be there. There are people who will there are people who will play the system, but they will not be a majority. A majority will benefit. I want to give you an example here. I joined farming last year when the affordable fertilizer was introduced. Okay, it is true. There are people who even tried to come up with fake fertilizers. But is it the majority? Majority got the right thing and they did the production. So people will always try to scam a system. It's possible, but you can't reject that system simply because you fear it will be misused. Let us have it, okay? And then we deal with the teething problems as it continues. Can you read that, sir?
Dan Son Kipgeti said the model is good from the word go, but the implementation of the model is questionable. It's like HELB used capture-recapture method to regroup students into different bands. It was just like the other week the president ordered the university to release the structure. How fast did HELB did it? We expected for them to take or to talk about 3 weeks for review of the error that might have made. Njoki amerudi sana. Few people Few people have been granted freedom to university education. What I'm saying is that we need the government to prepare a system adequately to meet the model.
Yeah,
Njoki amepotea tena.
so that is a good concern from Danson, but Danson is now being paranoid because he's arguing that it took too short. The help was too efficient because he's saying that was too short. We expected it to take longer. No, it can't take longer. If you give, the more room you give, misinformation. This is something that they had planned to share kitambo, only that they were told harakisheni and wakaharakisha. So it's not a big deal. There's no cause for alarm, Kiongozi.
Vincent Getty says information is power. Good job.
Thank you, Vincent. We are here to ensure that we have information. Read that of
Godfrey Onyony anasema if only our mainstream media stations took this route, the public would be at a better place. Zero confusion. Now we understand why some of them struggling to pay staffs at the very least. Good job, Opio and Samson.
This is thank you so much, Godfrey. But this is Eric. It's Fazul. He calls himself Fazul. So Fazul and Samson, and we've decided, and tuko hapa na Njoki.
Sandra is also with us here.
Sandra Njoki. So
aendelee kusoma hizo zingine.
And Sandra wrote something. Sandra actually wrote something.
Sandra ameandika kitu hapo.
Yes.
Can you read what Sandra did?
Amesema, hi. After I went off, somebody sent this question to my inbox. Sandra, many students' parents have a problem with the VSLF. It's because the distribution of the funds lack transparency. Details such as loan terms, interest terms, repayment conditions. Most importantly, there is no process for appealing declined scholarship requests.
So Njoki, on this, I was explaining that my approach would be, if you have a drug that you know is going to help this particular patient, but also that drug has side effects. Okay, let us go to the popular quinine. You remember quinine? Yeah, malaria. It had serious side effects that it could even kill you. One of the side effects was that it could really make you really sick. But it cured malaria. The alternative is, if you are left with malaria, it is guaranteed malaria is going to kill you. Guaranteed. Guarantee that malaria, if not treated, will kill you. But quinine has some side effects. One of them being that during that period, you are going to be really sick. Even the current Artemether, the one we use, AL, the tablets, the ones you take, 4 of them, you become really sick. Immediately you start taking those drugs. Now, do you stop taking them because of the side effects, or do you take them and then handle the side effects later? Because this is what I'm saying. There are challenges to a new program. There are bound to be challenges to a new program as it gets refined, etc. But there is need for it. People argue this way, Njoki, that why can't you wait? So you see, waiting means that you are not going to implement this and see where the challenges are in real time.
Yes.
Because if you allow it to work out there, then you are going to see challenges in real time. In real time. You are going to find that Njoki is saying, nimejaribu kuapply na imekataa, yet mimi, my income is below 5,000. Na nimewekwa kwa band 5 where they assuming that my income is 150. So there are people who will raise this issue. Let me give you an example with WEF. There is a Women Enterprise Fund. It was removed from giving the money manually and brought to Hustler Fund. It is under Hustler Fund. The complaint was that people will really borrow, this money and now disappear with it, because after all, there is no seeing somebody face to face. People will create imaginary groups and borrow the money, and to to that extent, some people really created funny groups and borrowed the money. But what these people don't understand, Oparanya was explaining the other day, unlike before, we know where they are. The only thing we don't have is the law to get them, but we know where they are. We know
You
where
know,
they are, and
bit
we
by
know how much they have. We know where they are, and we know how much they have. Unlike before, where we would meet in a certain center, register that group, take the money, and every one of us relocates because it was manual. So
yeah.
even if you relocate to India, we know where you are. So there are challenges, true. Even Aslafan, 12 million people out of the 21 decided sometime to disappear with the money, and they were bragging online. So what did the Hustler Fund do? One day they decided to send everybody who was retaining their money, they sent them a message that your limit has been increased to, maybe kama ulikuwa 500, it was like increased to 1500. So what you have to do is to repay the 500 that you owed them, and then now you borrow the other 15. You know the greed in man. What did people do? People repaid. Those who had sworn that they will not repay, they were like, I repaid the 500, and then I borrowed the 15. And so they repaid and borrowed and when they were trying to borrow the 15, they were told
Blocked.
their limit is 0. And so the government got their money back somehow. So what I was saying is, the challenge that people have is we don't want to give something time to try it. And that is the problem we have with our country. If you ask me, Njoki and Fazul, the challenge we have as a country is that we want change, but never ready to try any new thing.
At the
Samson,
same time, people also need to understand that there is never a perfect system that is installed at one go. What happens is that once systems are initiated and commissioned, what you do is that you go calibrating along the way as people give their feedback. For example, in this case, they want to have a mechanism in which they can appeal rejected requests. Then that goes into the calibration process. Nothing is ever released. There is no system that comes out perfect from day one.
Yeah.
So yes, there may be a few bottlenecks and showstoppers, but I want to believe that these are being, or they will be fixed as we go along the way. But like you said, Sam, the important thing here is that take advantage of this opportunity that has been extended and get your child into those higher institutions of learning.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Because what we were discussing here with even with my brother Fazul was that at times we want to move and make a step, but then we are drawn back by the fear that it will fail.
Yes.
So instead of trying, you are like, what if I fail? So let's say I want to go live. Okay? I want to go live. I'm like, oh, sasa nikienda live alafu niongee peke yangu. I go live, I talk alone. How will I know if I don't go live? Anyway, how will I know? How will I know?
Face the rejection or face the numbers and then calibrate from there.
Exactly. I have to first of all go that live and know that people are going to watch or not. But if I just decide that no, there's no way, they will not watch. That is the attitude we have here. The attitude we have is, why should we give you our money? Who will keep this money? What will be the transparency? Why can't we give it a chance and see? As we speak, I know people are pretending, but people use Hustler Fund kama kitu kingine. There is SGR. You remember they were saying who needed SGR? Sahi ni book. Huwezi hata pata nafasi kwa hiyo SGR.
I say people no longer use those buses and shuttles. SGR is the only mode of transport now. Mombasa, Nairobi, Nairobi, Mombasa. So yeah, people need to. You first use it. First, take advantage, exploit the opportunity that government is putting out to you. What
Yes.
Kenyans need to understand is that government never does things for profit. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
a government initiates and commissions, some of these initiatives for
Yes.
the purpose of the benefit of Wanjiko, so that it gains a legacy. It's not about money profit.
Yes.
This is the mistake that Kenyans have. They believe that everything, or those rumors that or the propagandas that have been released, and unfortunately, government has failed to counter that. It's all about stealing. It's all about making money. No, you take advantage, get in there, and take your child to university, to college, apply, and then get your first hand experience and then give your feedback. People will
Yes.
be very surprised, by the way. In my inbox, after I came in, and unfortunately my Wi-Fi is playing up. By the time I was going out, I have a testimony from a lady known as Lillian. Is it Mindfred or somebody? She's one of my friends on Facebook, and she's saying she's got two of her sisters children, her late sister's children. One is the second year, another one is has just joined, and she's educating them on this program. So it
Yes.
works. It works. People need
Yes.
to go out and try it.
Yes. And somebody, there's Mike Stanley. You can read that, Jockey. What
Mhm.
Mike Stanley is saying on the screen.
Mike Stanley.
On the screen. It is on the screen.
What's on the screen?
Uh-huh.
Gordon Appeal.
Uh,
We are crying in silence, bruh. The problem isn't failing to join university, but raising amount, especially band 4. That's where most complaints are domiciled. Me being one of them. What's band 4? What is he
yeah.
talking
So
about?
okay.
Mhm.
So this is very important. He has raised a very important point. So people are categorized in 5 bands, or what you would call 5 categories. Okay, based on household income. So let's say there are people who are earning, whose household income is maybe 5,000 and below, because we have people like that in Kenya, whose monthly income is 5,000 and below. People whose monthly income is 5,000 and below, they will get 70% in scholarship.
Mhm.
Okay, 70% in
Yes.
scholarship, and then they will get 25% in loan. Now the parent only pays 5%, okay, of the fee. They only pay 5% of the fee. I think I can share this. I can share this screen. I think that will be okay. Uh, um, the media is now trying to explain it. I think let me do it here. You see that screen? So that is Citizen. That is Citizen. So they were
Citizen.
explaining. They were explaining here. They are explain how Kenya's new banding university system model works. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
So this is what they were explaining. Uh, that we have needy students, or we have those who are in a position to pay, etc, etc. So an example will be this. We are not going to go through the entire article, but this is how it works. Those in band 1 are the extremely needy and vulnerable. This group will receive the bulk of the government aid in terms of scholarship at 70%. So these ones receive scholarship is 70%, and then they get 25% in loan. So the loan is from HELB. This one you will repay later, the normal way. And then now 5% is what comes from your contribution. And then the students will get support of 60,000. in terms of upkeep. Those in band 2, let us just read the band 2 so that we get the difference, and then the rest people can just verify. Those in band 2 are students coming from low income families, those who are earning maybe 20,000. I said band 1 is 5,000 and maybe below. This is those who are earning 20,000 averagely. These ones, they will get a scholarship of 60%, and then they will get 30% in loans. So 90% is covered. They just pay 10%, okay? And they get 55,000 for upkeep. I could go on and on, but you get the idea that even our friend Mike Stanley, who said that is in band 4. So in band 4, these are people whose, if I can remember, those who are earning 120, yes, about 120, household income of 120. So band 4 are considered middle and high income earners, and they will pay most of the money actually, because the student, the 20%, the student will get 30% as loan, and they will get 20% as scholarship. Okay, so it goes, the more moneyed you are, the more moneyed you are, the more you are not supposed to depend on scholarship. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that is why this system is being opposed by the rich, because you see, the poor cannot drive propaganda. You know that, Njoki and Fazul. Poor people can never drive propaganda. Poor people can never drive propaganda. So propaganda, when you see some propaganda or some misinformation going on, it is something that is being actually being propagated or being influenced by the rich. In most cases, that is how it works. It is being influenced by the rich, na inakuwa ni kitu imewaguza, imeguza the rich, because otherwise if you look at those who are at home and they're just waiting to see this thing work, in fact the stars has put it really even better. We even had nation media even today did an example with medicine course, and looked at those bands. But you can read from Njoki ameenda tena, you can read from Ken Langat. It is on
Ken
the
Lagat
screen.
says, Sandra, you are such a fluent and very informative.
Exactly, Njoki is good.
Njoki
Charlie
uko sawa.
amerudi.
Charlie Love anasema on a lighter, before I leave, it's great to hear sauti yenye si rough ya Njoki.
Are you suggesting our voices are rough?
Sauti ya wanaume sio? Ay.
Kibet.
Kibet anasema
Perfect.
perfect work bro.
Okay. So there is this comment from Meshach Cheriot.
Meshach Cherio says the model is at least better from the old one. In fact, they should even go ahead and disqualify all students from national schools unless for special cases.
Okay, that will be discriminatory, but he has a point down there that unless for special cases. The problem is, how will you know this is now a special case from national school? What you should do is look at how much the family is earning. If the family is in a position to sponsor themselves, Fazul, you agree that there is no need for government to pay for them, okay? When they can pay for themselves. So that money is used to pay for those who can't pay for themselves. That is what I like how the president put it during campaign. The president put it. Okay,
but
go on.
Samson, what do you think? What might be contributing to this kind of misinformation? Is it the media is not playing its part to inform the members of the public, ama wale ambao walipeana hiyo information to the public, the government is not doing much enough to get people informed about the new model?
I want to give you an example. Kenyans are mostly getting their information from radio. You are a journalist, you know the statistics. Only 30% of Kenyans have television. Only 30% of Kenyans. And those 30% of Kenyans who have television happen to live in urban centers. Only 12% of Kenyans are on social media. Okay? But over 70% of Kenyans listen to radio. Okay? So if you have information and you want to get to Kenyans, you get to Kenyans through radio.
Njoki is back.
So Njoki karibu. So what these people do, what these people do, if you want to run misinformation,
yes,
okay, you target vernacular radios. And that is where that is hapo ndio huwa walishinda nayo gava. Because most of those
Kameme, Ramogi na Msenangu.
Yes. Those vernacular radios are not owned by government, are they?
No,
they are private entities. So the challenge that you will have here is they are reaching as many people as possible with the wrong information. You are telling them that the government is coming to tax avocado. The government is going to count how many chickens do you have.
Okay. Samson, do you want to say that they are inviting people who are not informed to talk about the issue of the new model? Ama the journalists themselves in those media stations are the ones spreading these propagandas?
Actually, the challenge, you are a journalist, you can help here. The challenge we have in the country, and this is maybe worldwide, is that most media houses are owned by people who have political inclination. No, inclination. They are just people who have just decided, Mimi, I'm supporting this side of politics. Like in Kenya, let us take example of Kenya. You being a journalist, you can help us here. In Kenya, you know who owns Royal Media. SK Macharia was the Azimio Nairobi organizer. Yeah, the owner of the largest media house in Kenya was openly the organizer. He even was sitting in the Azimio Council. The owners of the Standard Media were members of Azimio. So you have cases where the media is owned by people who have openly gotten into politics. So what do you expect them to do? The journalist who is there, let's say Fazul, wants to say the truth. How long will you say the truth in somebody's media house before you are fired?
Home.
You will go
home immediately.
Now
so you have to toe along the line.
Yes, you have to toe the line. You do what you are told, or you go home, you start your own media house to one. And you know it is very expensive to start a media house. You know, the other day we were looking at just looking at official easy video cameras. Wachana na hizi tunatumia video cameras, those cinema line cameras. The lens peke yake ni 1 million and above. So how will you even start? How will you even start? Anyway, Kiongozi, it's okay. We've engaged people. We will tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, engage again on the same topic.
Jared Rabuta alikuwa anasema Njoki tunataka kulala. Ati Njoki rudi tunataka kulala band 4. Njoki amerudi tena akaishia, amesepa kwa ajili nadhani nini internet yake mleta mushkil yeah, but I think tunaweza endelea because tunaweza malizia kidogo. Kuna mwingine hapa na Morris says perfect work. Alafu mwingine anaitwa Kiporita Lam who says my son is in Multimedia University and I'm a beneficiary. Alafu Morris says Samson, your knowledge is at top. Akakuwekea alama ya fire
shukran sana. Ken Lagat, soma hiyo ya Ken.
Ken Lagat says, guys, this is what the Kenyans people want. Verified, accurate information. Counter this misinformation and propaganda. The country can't be held hostage by a few selfish individuals spreading lies for their selfish interest.
And thank you for that. Ken, why the reason as to why I'm going live but on a platform where you can join. Okay? This platform, I'm not going live as an authoritarian, where our view, my view and Fazul is the only view. You just click that link Okay, if you have different information, you click that link and you will be on the screen. Okay, and we will give people all your side of the story. So that is what we want. We want a situation where we are not going to allow a case where information that is reaching the common man down there, okay, is a falsehood. Whether it is on the issue of JKA, we will do research, Mimi na Fazul and
We will
others.
bring it here.
We will do research. We will come here. We will discuss that. If you have contrary information, you join. You just click. There is no day I will refuse to allow you. You will join. There is even a guy who had joined and he was supporting Gen Z. You remember the other time? the one who joined and we spoke and we had a very healthy conversation.
Namkumbuka huyo.
Yes. So you join and express yourself. Join and say what if you feel that this is a fake model, is bad, it has issues. Come here and share your truth. Come here and tell us that, oh, I tried. You see, Danny said that there's a guy who said that he applied as somebody whose income is 10,000. Then he found himself in band what? In band 4.
Band 4.
So we say there are cases where we will find challenges. That is guaranteed. It might be a problem with our system, etc., but it is not widespread. So such cases people can have, and there's a lady who is even saying there is no mechanism for appeal. Those are things that as we go on, you refine the system. You refine the system. CBC started here, and I can tell you, those who are in the rurals do not even know what CBC kids are doing in Nairobi. You can't tell me those who are in the rurals are also enjoying the same thing. But as time goes, it will be rolled out so that it benefits virtually everyone. It will be refined so that it is something that even somebody in Kwale can, in the rurals of Kwale or in the rurals of Turkana, can also enjoy and have the same education. Not that people in city centers, living in cities, are the ones who are going to enjoy. I think you can read this Wandaka Mark.
Wandaka Mark says nothing is coming out from this Kutenga and Kupanga government. But anyway, you have to do this for a living. Okay, great. Unajua, Samson, what I was actually wondering about, there are a good number of people who have been radicalized
Yes.
to believe the kind of misinformation that is being spread across the country touching on the new model.
Yes.
Sasa mimi kuna mara nilikuwa najiuliza swali moja. Watu kama hawa tuseme kama wamesha kuwa radicalized, of which they believe ya kuwa the misinformation is the gospel truth.
Yes.
How can these people be de-radicalized, so that they can come back to their senses and embrace what is the truth?
I told you there are two kinds of people. There are people who have been misinformed, and then there are people who are looking for lies to believe in to fight the government. So that is, and I said this is a democracy. Okay, you can look at us and see that these are two gentlemen on the screen. Okay, but you can decide and say that there were two women on the screen. And you say one woman was called Magdalena and another one was Susan. But you can see this is our names are here. Okay, you can see this Samson Ogola, that is value. But somebody can choose to, even though they know the truth, those ones you can't help. I'm telling you the truth. People who know the truth and have decided that they're going to spread the lie have an agenda to accomplish. And so then they will want that lie to succeed. Let's say you are opposed to President Ruto. And you have said President Ruto is going to fail. Okay? And your prayer is that he fails. Then he launches something that is so good for majority. What would you do? You saw the other day, John Mbadi, the new CS for Treasury, was saying there are so wonderful provisions of the finance bill that was rejected. Remember, he was saying reject. Don't amend. Reject. Reject. Don't amend. Don't amend.
Don't amend.
But he was now saying there are some parts that he has to reintroduce. Why? Oparanya was saying I was opposing Hustler Fund because I didn't know about it. Okay? So there are people who are opposing because they don't have facts. But there are people who are opposing for the sake of opposing it so that their opponent look bad. Those ones you can't help. The one who is saying that we are doing this for a living. The person should know that you don't even belong to the government in any form. That you, as Fazul, you are not even in this government in any format.
I'm not in this government, my friend.
In any format. You are not even a supporter or a sympathizer of Ruto. But you are a journalist, and as a journalist, your role is to share the truth. It is for people to make decision. What they make, what they do with the information they get is up to them. But they need to be given the chance to know the truth. So we wind. We don't just say we will be winding. We will be winding. Read that Koi Kipro, then we wind, sir.
Koi Kipro says, I need you guys to debunk Jimmy Wanjigi. He has been spreading misinformation and propaganda that does not exist.
Yeah, so you will tell us what subject
We'll find
it
out.
is. No, you just tell us what subject it is. We will research with you, and also Roy Kipro, we will invite you on that day. We will want you also to be here to share those propaganda that Wanjigi is coming up with, and then now we debunk them. Because if it is a lie, we will share that this is a lie. If it is true, we will say, okay, hapa ni ukweli lakini. Otherwise, thank you, people. Fazul, you can close.
Hamna shida. Mi nimeshukuru sana vile tumechukua hiyo time because initially tulikuwa tumepanga kuwa we do it for around 30 minutes.
Yes.
But sa discussion imeenda kwa mapana na marefu, kwa Kiswahili tuseme hivyo.
Yes.
Na tumedadavua mengi kuhusiana na hiyo new model of funding. Vile vile nimeshukuru mtoto wa kike ametujoin hapo, Sandra, ijapokuwa amesema internet yake si nzuri, but I think next time atatujoin because unajua ameongeza chachu kwenye mdahalo huu kwa ajili kuna wengi ambao wanasema kuwa yuko fluent na wengine pia walikuwa wanataka Sandra rudi asitoke, but sasa siku ya leo ama usiku wa leo naweza sema kuwa discussion imekuwa nadhifu zaidi. Kwa lugha ya Kiswahili tunasema nadhifu. In English you can say perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, and thank you so much, Fazul.
Okay.